Do you really think you can withstand the onslaught of the three of us? Tyler sneered mockingly. His eyes flashed with fury as he rolled the knife between his fingers. A crowd of students gathered around them, forming a tight circle. Everyone was recording the scene on their phones, yet no one dared to step in. Alex stood alone. His glasses reflected the dim daylight, and his stance appeared deceptively relaxed. He quietly said, "This is your last chance to walk away." Tyler's laughter shifted into a vicious growl. "This will bring me true pleasure," he spat as he lunged forward, the blade gleaming in the sunlight. What happened next made everyone burst out in amazement. Alex moved fluidly like water, instantly catching Tyler's wrist. A sharp crack was heard, followed by a scream. The knife clattered to the ground, and a genuine fight broke out. Ahead, you will witness the most thrilling moment. Stay tuned to find out how it ends. Meanwhile, like the video and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss new content. Alex Miller, a 15-year-old boy with tousled chestnut hair and rectangular glasses constantly slipping down his nose, stood in front of the imposing facade of Lincoln School. His shoulders were tense, and his fingers anxiously fidgeted with the strap of his backpack, which contained fresh textbooks and notebooks. It was his first day at a new school after the family moved from Portland to Chicago due to his father's career advancement. The school looked like a typical American institution. The educational institution promised a lot, and the possibility to change his life. The 3-story brick building with large windows and a neat lawn at the entrance appeared solid and welcoming. Yet for Alex, it seemed like an impenetrable fortress filled with unknown dangers. He drew a deep breath and exhaled slowly, silently repeating the mantra taught to him by his father, a professional mixed martial arts coach. "Fear is just a signal, Alex. It does not define who you are." Nobody at Lincoln School knew that behind his slender figure and gentle features stood a 3-time national jiu-jitsu champion in the youth division. Since the age of 7, Tyler had trained every day under his father's guidance, learning not only combat techniques, but also the profound philosophy of martial arts. True strength, his father said, is not about causing pain, but about the ability to protect oneself and stay calm, even in the most dangerous moments. These words became Tyler's inner compass. In his former school, he was respected for his sporting achievements. However, here he decided to start fresh. Forget about medals and titles. He just wanted to be an ordinary teenager focused on his studies, and perhaps find friends who shared his passion for physics and astronomy. Passing through the main doors, Alex found himself in a noisy hallway filled with students rushing to their classes. The air buzzed with the lively atmosphere of the first day. Laughter, loud conversations, and the clatter of lockers closing. Tyler pulled the schedule from his pocket and started searching for his first class, an advanced mathematics course in room 206. As he made his way through the crowd, he felt the scrutinizing eyes of those around him. Starting as a newcomer is always tough, especially in the middle of the semester. He just wanted to blend in with the students and avoid standing out. Suddenly, a loud voice broke the silence. "Hey, watch where you're going, nerd." Alex felt a sharp shove in his shoulder that nearly caused him to stumble and collide with a row of lockers. The noise drew the attention of other students who began turning toward the commotion. In front of him stood a tall, sturdy guy with perfectly styled blonde hair and a cold smirk. The emblem of the school's football team glistened on his bright red sports jacket. 2 others stood nearby, one with a muscular build and short dark hair, the other tall and thin with a cunning look in his eyes. Alex quietly said, "Sorry, I didn't see you," trying to ease the tension. Instinctively, his body took a slightly defensive stance, yet he quickly relaxed, not wanting to reveal his skills. The blonde chuckled. "Oh, he can talk," making his friends laugh. "I'm Tyler Hughes, and this is my turf, newbie." He stepped closer, his voice lowering but carrying a threat. "There are rules here. The first, don't get in my way." Alex's heart raced, not with fear, but with the excitement that always came before a challenge. He was ready. He took a deep breath, trying to hold back a surge of feelings. "I'm just trying to find my class," he said, adjusting his glasses. "I do not want to cause any trouble." "Oh, but you already have," Tyler snapped, as he snatched the schedule from Alex. "Alex Miller, Advanced Mathematics." "Wow, we have a real genius here." Tyler crumpled the paper and threw it right in his face. "Welcome to Lincoln High School, nerd. Your time here will be quite an adventure, I promise." Tyler snapped his fingers, and 3 guys walked further down the corridor, leaving Alex to pick up his schedule from the floor. Some students glanced at him with sympathy, but no one stepped forward to help. "Do not pay attention to them." Suddenly, a voice sounded nearby. Alex looked up and saw a girl with dark hair loosely tied in a ponytail and bright green eyes. She bent down and picked up his schedule. "My name is Amelia Parker. I can show you where room 206 is." She smiled, handing the paper back. "Tyler and his crew think they run the school just because they have won a few football games." "Thank you." Alex straightened up, feeling relief that amidst so many strangers, he found a friendly face. "I'm Alex. Today is my first day." "I guess that," Amelia said as she walked down the hallway, inviting him to follow. "Where did you come from?" "From Portland," Alex replied, walking beside her step by step. "My dad got a promotion and we had to move. Changing schools in the middle of the semester is not easy. Portland, amazing. I have always dreamed of being there." She looked at him with genuine curiosity. "So, how do you like the school so far, aside from encountering the local Stony residents?" Alex could not help but smile. It is hard to tell at this point. "I will say later, I hope everyone here does not have the same attitude as that guy Tyler." "Oh no," Emily replied while shaking her head. "Most of the students are pretty normal. It is just that Tyler Hughes, Drek Thompson, and Jake Harris are somewhat the school's elite. Tyler leads the football team. His father is an important sponsor of the institution, so a lot gets overlooked for him." They approached the door labeled 206. "Here we are," Emily announced. "Mr. Baker is a great teacher, but do not be late for class. He cannot stand it." "Thanks a lot," Alex expressed sincerely. "No problem," Emily shrugged. "Maybe we will meet again at lunch. I usually sit with friends in the far corner of the cafeteria by the windows." "Of course," Alex responded, feeling that this first day might turn out to be not so bad. After Emily left, Alex took a deep breath and entered the classroom. The day flew by much faster than he had expected. The teachers were mostly kind, but firm, and the classmates were generally friendly, though clearly curious about the newcomer. Fortunately, Tyler and his crew did not show up in any of Alex's lessons before lunch. Entering the noisy cafeteria with a tray holding a burger and fries, he started searching for Emily with his eyes and spotted her in the far corner, just as she had said, accompanied by 2 other girls. The guy wearing glasses appeared to be a genuine computer genius. He began to slowly approach their table, when suddenly he felt someone trip him. Tyler Hughes, with his quick reflexes, could have easily kept his balance, but chose not to do so. He allowed himself to stumble a little, though he made sure to keep the tray steady so the food would not fall on the floor. "Oh, sorry, newbie. Did not see your short legs," Tyler's laughter echoed as he sat with the football team and several cheerleaders. Alex ignored the joke and continued moving towards Emily's table. "I see you have already met the royal family," Emily remarked as he joined them. "This is Jason, Lisa, and Megan," she introduced her friends. "Hi," Alex nodded. "Yes, Tyler and I exchanged pleasantries this morning. We do not let them get to you," Jason said while adjusting his glasses. "They act like this to anyone outside their circle, especially newcomers," added Lisa, the curly blonde with a kind smile. They are like vultures, sensing fresh blood. Thanks for the warning. Alex gave a faint smile and began to eat his lunch. I am used to handling difficulties. You don't understand yet, Megan whispered quietly, the dark-haired girl with a serious expression. Tyler and his group are not just ordinary bullies. Last year they caused serious trouble. One boy was treated so harshly that his family had no choice but to move away. Alex frowned deeply. Meanwhile, the school administration took no action. 4 friends exchanged meaningful glances. Principal Hammond was afraid of losing the support of Tyler's father, explained Emily. Coach Reynolds held Tyler in such high regard as the star player of the football team that Jason advised everyone to keep their distance from them. Alex thoughtfully chewed on his French fries. He never sought out trouble deliberately, but neither did he back down. As his father often said, sometimes the only way to stop bullying is to stand up to it. I will keep that in mind, he finally replied. The rest of lunch passed in a much lighter mood. Alex learned that Emily was president of the debate club and wrote articles for the school newspaper. Jason participated in programming contests. Lisa played cello in the school orchestra, and Megan was captain of the track and field team. Do you have any hobbies? Lisa asked curiously, looking at Alex. He hesitated for a moment. He could have shared his achievements in jiu-jitsu, the 4 hours of daily training, meditation practice, and prepping for tournaments, but decided to keep that private for now. Nothing special yet, Alex shrugged. Sometimes I read science fiction, enjoy astronomy, and do some sports. What kind? Megan immediately inquired. Various kinds, Alex answered evasively. Running, push-ups, nothing too serious. The school bell cut the conversation short. It announced the end of the lunch break. What is your next class? Emily asked, standing up from her seat. Alex carefully looked over his schedule. Physical education with Coach Hughes. 4 friends exchanged meaningful glances full of unspoken messages. What is going on? Alex asked. Oh, it's just that our soccer team has gym at the same time, replied Jason. Good luck to you. With a heavy heart, Alex headed to the gym. In the locker room, some guys were already changing into their sports gear. Alex found a quiet corner and started changing, trying not to draw attention to his body, which, despite seeming slim, was strong and muscular, thanks to daily workouts. He was pulling his shirt on when he heard a familiar voice. Look who is here. Our new acquaintance, Nerd Alex, said Tyler, surrounded him with 2 friends, smirking mockingly. I just want to change and go to class, Alex answered calmly without showing anger. Of course, Tyler winked at Miller and another buddy. But first, a small ritual, a school tradition. Before Alex could do anything, Miller grabbed his backpack and sports bag, while Hughes blocked his way. Let me guess, Tyler said, rummaging through Alex's stuff. You probably have Mom's notes with good wishes, or a little teddy bear for luck. Alex clenched his fists, feeling his heart start to race. It was one thing to endure insults spoken aloud, but something entirely different when someone invades your personal belongings. This crossed a line and made him especially uneasy. In the side pocket of his backpack lay a photograph from the last championship, where he stood proudly on the podium, holding a golden medal. Give me back my things, he said, a new firmness creeping into his voice. Tyler raised an eyebrow, noticing the change in tone. What now? Going to run and tell the teachers? He sneered, pulling Alex's phone from the backpack. Let's see what secrets our new friend is hiding. This is beyond acceptable. Alex stepped forward, but Miller blocked his way, pressing firmly against his chest. Where are you going, nerd? At that moment, the locker room door swung open sharply, and a tall man in a tracksuit walked in, stopwatch hanging around his neck. It was Coach Reynolds. What is going on here? His stern voice made everyone freeze. Hughes, Thompson, Harris. What are you doing with the new student stuff? Tyler quickly hid Alex's phone behind his back. Nothing, coach. Just helping him settle in. The coach's gaze was sharp. I have been at this school for 20 years, Hughes, and I know exactly what's behind your so-called help. Reynolds stepped closer and demanded, return his belongings immediately and head to the field. 10 laps around the stadium for warm-up. Tyler tossed the phone back to Alex with irritation, while Jake reluctantly handed over the backpack and bag. This is only the beginning, newbie Patch, he muttered. Tyler hissed as he walked past him. The fun is only just beginning. When the trio stepped outside, the coach turned to Alex. Are you all right, son? Yeah, everything's fine, Alex replied, while checking his belongings. Luckily, nothing was missing. I need to find a photograph, the coach introduced himself. My name is Mike Reynolds. Don't pay attention to those three. Their egos are much bigger than their brains. Alex Miller shook the coach's hand. Thank you for your help. No problem, he answered. The coach studied him closely and asked, Do you play any sports, Alex? He gave a vague answer. A little. Reynolds looked doubtful. All right, finish getting changed and come to the field. Today, we will play basketball. When Alex stepped out, he noticed the class was divided into 2 teams. Tyler, Derek, and Jake were running along the edge of the stadium, completing punishments. From a distance, Alex felt their hostile stares. Now that everyone is here, the coach announced, let's split into teams. Brown and Martinez were chosen as captains and took turns picking players. Alex was one of the last to be picked because nobody knew what he was capable of, and everyone preferred to choose familiar faces. The game began, and Alex deliberately played cautiously, only occasionally showing his agility and coordination. Skills that would be useful in jiu-jitsu. He did not want to draw unnecessary attention to himself. After class, when everyone had already changed and was heading to the exit, Alex suddenly felt someone grab his shoulder sharply. He turned around. Do you really think you are so clever? Tyler hissed, his face twisted with anger. Hiding behind your coach? I do not want any trouble, Alex said calmly. Alex broke free from Tyler's grip with such ease that for a moment it took him by surprise. But trouble has already found you, Derek smirked as he stepped closer to Tyler. After classes, in the parking lot near the East Wing, if you do not show up, we will come for you tomorrow. And believe me, it will be much worse then. Jake pulled out his phone and added, and do not you dare tell anyone or the whole internet will find out what a coward you really are. Alex watched them carefully, weighing his options. He could easily handle them physically, but that would expose his secret and might lead to even bigger problems. On the other hand, if he did not stand up now, the bullying would never end. Finally, he made his decision. When the time came for the after-school meeting in the parking lot, Tyler was surprised by the agreement, but quickly returned his usual mocking smile. Great, newbie. Get ready for the most unforgettable experience of your life. After they left, Alex took a deep breath, trying to calm the storm of thoughts inside him. This was not the plan he had in mind for his first day at the new school, but trouble seemed like a fate he could not avoid. If Tyler and his gang wanted a fight, they would have to face someone who was far from easy to intimidate. The last lesson was literature with Miss Collins, the teacher had short red hair and a lively personality. Fortunately, Tyler and his group were not in this class, which gave Alex a chance to focus and prepare himself. Today we are going to discuss the concept of a hero in literature, Miss Collins announced. What exactly grants a character the status of a hero? Is it their strength, bravery, or perhaps their moral values? Alex listened carefully, though inside he felt nervous about the upcoming encounter. This question felt deeply relevant to his own situation. Mr. Miller, Miss Collins suddenly addressed him. As a newcomer in our class, maybe you are ready to share your thoughts. What do you believe makes someone a true hero? Alex straightened up, a bit surprised by the direct question. He started speaking hesitantly, but gradually his voice grew more confident. I think a true hero is someone who makes the right choices, even when it is difficult. Someone who uses their talents not for selfish pride, but to protect the weak and defenseless. Well said, Ms. Collins praised, nodding approvingly. Indeed, many heroes in literature face moral challenges where they must choose between the easy yet wrong path and the hard but right one. Alex reflected on his own dilemma. It would be easy to use his abilities to humiliate Tyler and his group, to show his superiority. But is that the right decision? His father always said that martial arts should be used as a last resort when all other options have been exhausted. After the lesson, while gathering his belongings, Alex noticed that Miss Collins was watching him with a hint of concern. "Are you all right, Mr. Miller?" she asked. "You seem a bit tense." "I'm fine," Alex replied, forcing a polite smile. "It's just the first day, and there is a lot of new information to take in. If you ever want to talk to someone," she added, "my door is always open." "Thank you." Alex nodded and left the classroom. In the hallway, Emily was waiting, leaning against the wall near the door. "Is it true?" she asked abruptly. "True what? That you agreed to meet Tyler and his goons in the parking lot?" She looked worried. "Alex, this is a bad idea. They don't play fair. There are 3 of them, and they could attack you all at once." "How do you know about this?" Alex was surprised. "The whole school is already gossiping about it." Emily shook her head. "Rumors spread here faster than any illness, but you have to understand, this is a trap. They want to make you a laughingstock in front of everyone." "I have to go," Alex answered firmly. "If I don't go today, then tomorrow or the day after, they won't leave me alone." "Then I'm going with you," Emily declared determinedly. "No," Alex objected. "This is my business. I don't want you to get hurt." "How noble of you," she replied sharply. "But I'm not going to fight. I will be a witness. If something goes wrong..." So, someone has to speak the truth. Alex wanted to argue, but realized there was some logic in her words. Besides, it felt somewhat reassuring to have a familiar face nearby. "All right, I agree," he finally said. "But stay away. I don't know what they are planning." "Do not worry about me," Emily smiled weakly. "I know how to stay unnoticed when necessary." Together, they headed toward the eastern section of the school. With each step, Alex felt his determination growing stronger. He did not want this confrontation, but if Tyler and his friends insisted, he was ready to stand up for himself. The parking lot near the east wing was almost empty by that time. Most students had already gone home, but a small group had gathered, forming a semicircle. Tyler, Deck, and Jake were in the center, clearly enjoying the attention. "There he is," someone shouted upon noticing Alex approaching. The crowd parted, and all eyes turned to him. Alex stopped a few steps away from the trio. His face remained calm. However, inside he was tense and prepared for whatever might happen next. "Honestly, I thought you would change your mind," Tyler said, stepping forward. His voice was loud enough for everyone to hear. "But it seems you are even more foolish than I thought." "I did not come here to fight, Tyler," Alex replied calmly. "I want to offer peace. We can part ways and forget all this." Derek's and Jake's laughter echoed throughout the parking lot. "Hear that, Tyler? The scholar is offering peace." Deck. He stepped forward, clenching and unclenching his fists. "How noble of you. I fear that it is far too late for peace now," Tyler sneered. "You see, you made a mistake showing no fear of me, and that is something I cannot stand." "This is your final opportunity," Alex declared firmly. "Let's part peacefully, and no one will suffer except you." Suddenly, Tyler lunged ahead, swinging his hand to strike. Alex could have easily dodged, but chose to absorb the first blow to gauge his opponent's strength. Tyler's fist landed on his shoulder, causing a slight stagger. "Is that all you've got?" Alex said, straightening up. Surprise faded from Tyler's face and was replaced by anger. He swung again, this time aiming at Alex's face. Alex tilted his head, the punch missing and throwing Tyler off balance. "Hold him!" Tyler shouted. Derek and Jake hurried to surround Alex. What happened next gripped everyone with tension. Alex moved among the three attackers, dodging their strikes effortlessly as if performing a dance. He did not launch an attack, only defended himself with minimal movements to conserve energy. "What the hell?" Derek muttered, as his powerful strike hit nothing, and he easily fell after a light push from Alex. "Stop!" Tyler suddenly commanded, signaling his comrades to pause. His eyes narrowed. "Who the hell are you?" Alex stood tall, breathing steady despite the intense activity. "I already told you." Alex Miller was the new student. Tyler shook his head. A typical nerd would not move like that. "So, you must be someone else." At that moment, Jake, who had stepped back toward Alex's backpack lying abandoned, shouted triumphantly, "Found him!" He was holding a photograph. Alex was standing on a podium with a gold medal around his neck, surrounded by other athletes wearing kimonos. It was the National Jiu-Jitsu Championship, and he had won the youth category. Alex Miller read Jake's caption under the picture. The crowd began whispering among themselves. Alex sighed, realizing his secret was out. "So you've been fooling us all this time." Tyler's face twisted with anger, pretending to be weak, but actually a champion. "I never said I was weak," Alex answered calmly. "I just didn't want anyone to focus on my skills. I'm here to study, not to fight." "But now you definitely will have to fight," Tyler growled, a knife blade glittering in his hand. "Let's see how well your jiu-jitsu works against this." The crowd exhaled collectively. The situation changed abruptly from a simple schoolyard scuffle into something far more serious. "Put the knife down, Tyler." Alex's voice grew steady. "Are you crossing the line?" "No, you crossed my boundary when you came to my school and tried to humiliate me." Tyler slowly circled around him, knife pointed at Alex. Now everyone would learn what happens to those who think they are better than Tyler. Hughes. "Tyler, stop!" Emily shouted from the crowd. "Are you out of your mind? This is already a criminal offense." "Shut up!" Tyler snapped without taking his eyes off Alex. "This is between me and the champion." Alex took a fighting stance. Tension flooded his body. He was prepared to handle a knife. They had trained him for situations like this, yet the risk remained incredibly high. "Last chance to back down, Tyler," he warned calmly. "Never," Tyler replied with determination and lunged forward, aiming the knife at Alex's abdomen. Time seemed to slow down for Alex. He tracked the path of the attack and calculated his moves carefully, like a clock. With a smooth motion, he dodged the strike, grabbed Tyler's wrist, and using his own momentum, pushed him toward the ground, twisting the knife hand behind his back. A muffled cry of pain escaped Tyler. The knife slipped from his hand and quietly rolled across the pavement. Alex squeezed the wrist tightly, pinning it to the ground with his knee. Derek and Jake froze, unsure how to react since their leader had been taken down. It was over. "Tyler," Alex said calmly despite the tense atmosphere, "this isn't a movie or a game. A knife is real danger. Do you realize you could have killed someone?" Tyler remained silent, only moaning softly in pain. "Let him go," Derek demanded, stepping forward. "Don't move," Alex warned. "I wish no harm for any of you, but if I have to, I will defend myself." At that moment, a loud whistle blew, cutting through the silence. The crowd dispersed, making way for Coach Reynolds. "What on earth is going on here?" His voice rang out as he surveyed the scene. His eyes landed on a knife lying on the pavement, and his face drained of color. "Tyler Hughes, is this yours?" Alex slowly relaxed his grip and let Tyler rise to his feet. Tyler lost his balance, his expression a mix of pain and humiliation. "It was self-defense, Coach," Emily said, stepping forward. "I have a video showing Tyler threatening Alex with a knife." Coach Reynolds shook his head, his face growing darker by the moment. "Enough. Everyone go home," he ordered. The drama was over. "But the four of you," he added, pointing at Alex, Tyler, Derek, and Jake. "Come with me to the principal's office immediately." The crowd reluctantly began to scatter, though many still glanced at Alex, now with a new mix of respect and even fear. As they headed toward the main building, Tyler kept his distance from Alex. His former confidence had completely disappeared. Derek and Jake followed him, like lost puppies without a leader. "For the record," Coach Reynolds whispered as he stepped beside Alex, "what you did was impressive, but extremely risky. You could have been hurt." "I knew what I was doing," Alex replied calmly. "My father has been training me since I was 7. Still, the coach shook his head. "In the future, if you feel threatened, come to me or another instructor. Do not handle conflicts on your own." "You're right," Alex admitted quietly. "This was not easy for me." He tried to stand up for the other students. People like Tyler cannot be left without consequences, or they will never stop. "There is some truth in that," agreed the coach, as he opened the door to the administrative wing. "Yet there is a distinction between justice and revenge, as well as a fine line between protection and violence." In Principal Hammond's office, a tall woman in a formal suit awaited them. Her face was serious, her gaze stern, her lips pressed tightly. Coach Reynolds demanded an explanation. Her voice was cold, almost icy. "Madam Principal, we have had an incident in the parking lot," the coach began. "Apparently, Mr. Hughes threatened the new student, Mr. Miller, with a knife." "That is not true," Tyler suddenly objected. "I did not intimidate anyone. It was just a school argument that got out of control." "We have witnesses and video evidence," Principal Hammond stated sharply. "Miss Parker has already provided all the proof." Tyler turned pale, realizing how serious the situation was. "This is just a misunderstanding," he tried to defend himself. "I never intended to harm anyone." "Carrying a weapon in school is a very serious violation, Mr. Hughes," the principal continued. "Not to mention that you threatened another student's life. That is sufficient cause for immediate expulsion and legal action." Panic flickered across Tyler's face. "You do not have the right to expel me," he said. "Your father is already on his way here," the principal interrupted. "And believe me, he is just as shocked by your behavior as I am." Alex watched the situation silently. He did not want Tyler to be expelled despite his actions. In his opinion, expulsion would only deepen Tyler's bitterness and anger. "Madame Director," he finally spoke, "I think expulsion is not the best course of action." All eyes turned toward Alex. "What do you suggest then, Mr. Miller?" the director inquired, raising an eyebrow. It was clear that Tyler had made a serious mistake. Alex met the gaze of his former rival. "We all make mistakes, and perhaps instead of completely expelling someone, this case should be seen as an opportunity for personal growth and change." This unexpected and intriguing viewpoint came from the very person who was under threat, the director noted coldly. "My father always said true strength lies not in defeating an enemy, but in turning him into an ally," Alex continued. "Maybe Tyler needs not only strict discipline, but also an understanding of the consequences of his actions." The director tapped thoughtfully on the desk. "What exactly do you propose?" she asked. "A temporary suspension combined with community service within the school," Alex suggested. "Additionally, mandatory anger management classes, and I could teach him some philosophical aspects of martial arts that focus not on fighting techniques, but on self-control and respect," he quickly added. Tyler looked at Alex with suspicion and embarrassment, clearly puzzled about why he was defending him after what had happened. Your suggestion is unconventional, acknowledged Principal Hammond. But it makes sense. Considering the severity of the violation, I will have to discuss the matter with the school board and law enforcement. Mr. Hughes, you are suspended for 2 weeks. Your return will depend on the investigation's outcome and the psychologist's report. Tyler nodded, his usual confidence completely gone. As for you, Mr. Thompson and Mr. Harris, the principal continued, addressing Delic and Jake. You are suspended from classes for 1 week and will receive an official reprimand. If such behavior happens again, the consequences will be more serious. Yes, ma'am, they both muttered, avoiding her gaze. Mr. Miller, shifting his focus to Alex. While I appreciate your ability to stand up for yourself, I advise you to involve the school staff in any future conflicts. Understood. Alex quietly nodded. It will not happen again. Good. Principal Hammond stood up and added, that concludes today's meeting. Coach Hughes, please ensure they leave the school premises without any trouble. When the boys stepped out of the office, Tyler suddenly stopped Alex and gestured for the coach to leave them alone for a few minutes. Why? He asked softly and uncertainly. Why did you stand up for me, even after everything I did? Alex looked him straight in the eyes. Tyler looked into his eyes and replied that everyone deserves a second chance. True strength does not lie in the desire to destroy an enemy, but in the ability to understand them. Tyler remained silent for a long time, as if trying to solve a difficult puzzle. I do not know what to say, he finally admitted. You do not have to say anything, Alex responded calmly. Just think about what happened and decide what kind of person you want to become moving forward. With these words, he turned and headed toward the exit, where Emily was waiting for him. This was incredible, she said as they stepped outside. How did you move? How did you handle the knife? Then someone stepped in to protect Tyler. Why him? Alex shrugged and, for the first time in a long while, smiled. My father always told me, winning is not about power, but about wisdom. Not fists, but the heart. Today, I finally understood what he meant. They walked along the path leading to the main school gates. The evening rays of the sun cast long shadows on the ground. You know, Alex continued, I was nervous about moving, about the new school, about having to start everything over again. But now it seems like this is not just a chance to change Tyler, but to change myself as well. How so? Emily asked with curiosity. At my old school, everyone knew me as a champion, Alex explained. That shaped my identity. There, I was someone special. Here, I want to be a regular guy without any extra labels. But today, I realized it is impossible to run from yourself. And maybe that is not so frightening, Emily. She smiled softly, gently touching his hand. I believe you are exactly who you are meant to be, Alex Miller. I am happy you are now here at our school. Alex felt a warmth spreading through his chest. Perhaps this day was a promising beginning. Meanwhile, as Alex and Emily were leaving the school grounds, far away in another part of town, Derek and Jake were preparing at a location that could shatter the fragile truce that had just started to form. The next morning, Alex woke up to a sudden ringing of his mobile phone. The screen showed Emily's name. Her voice sounded anxious and scared. Can you talk? Yes. What happened? He immediately sensed that something was wrong. It is Derek and Jake. Hurry, she said quickly. They caught me on my way to school and gave me a message for you. Alex sat up straight in bed, fully awake now, his heart pounding with nervousness. What kind of message? Did they do something to you? He asked. No, everything is fine. Don't worry, Emily hurried to reassure him. But they said Tyler got into serious trouble because of you. His father went into a rage as soon as he found out. Now you might be in danger too. Alex asked loudly, Emily, where are you right now? As he got up, quickly putting on clothes at the same time, she replied, "I got to the school library early. They didn't follow me, just gave the message and left." "Stay there. I will be there soon," Alex decided, quickly throwing on jeans and a t-shirt. Emily's voice trembled. "Be careful." There was something unusual in their eyes, not like before. It felt as if something had switched after the conversation. Alex stopped for a moment, reflecting on what was happening. He knew that rage could push people to act without thinking. If Tyler's father had really lost control like that, it was unclear what state Derek and Jake were in right now. In the kitchen, Alex noticed a note left by his father. "I have a morning training session with a client. I will be back by lunchtime. Omelette in the fridge. Love you, Dad." After a quick breakfast, he grabbed his backpack and rushed out of the house. On the way to school, Alex tried once again to call Emily, but there was no answer. This made him quicken his pace, almost turning into a run. When Alex arrived at school, it was still quite early, and most students had not come yet. He went straight to the library, but nobody was there. The librarian said Emily had been there recently, but left with two guys who claimed to be her friends. Alex's anxiety turned into full panic. He quickly pulled out his phone and called Emily again. This time, an unfamiliar voice answered. "Well, champion?" Derek said mockingly. "Looking for your girlfriend?" Alex demanded sharply. "Where is Emily?" His voice was cold and tense. "Don't worry, she is alive and well for now," Derek replied calmly. "But if you want her to stay that way, you better come to the abandoned factory behind the stadium alone right away," he added. When Alex, he started threatening, "If you even touch her finger," his words were cut off by laughter. "So what will you do, martial artist? Send us flying?" It was Jake's voice. "We have an interesting lesson about consequences for you." The connection ended. Alex stood there, gripping the phone tightly. Inside, fury and fear clashed. He realized going there alone and telling no one was risky, but calling the police seemed dangerous too, because Emily might be hurt. Then he sent a message to his father. "I will not be able to make it to school today. I will explain everything later." After that, he added, "If I do not come back by 3, call the police and tell them I am at the abandoned factory behind the school stadium." After sending the message, Alex moved towards the factory. The deserted red brick building, once a textile mill, had been empty for several years, waiting to be demolished. Tyler knew about this place from school conversations. Some guys used it as a secret hangout after classes, hiding from teachers and parents. When he reached the factory, he paused for a moment to steady his breath and clear his mind. His father always said fear and anger interfere with fighting. It was important to keep a clear head and control emotions. The main entrance was boarded up, but the side door was left open. Stepping inside, Alex found himself in a large room with tall ceilings. Sunlight filtered through the dirty windows under the roof, dispelling the dust and filling the dimness with light. "Emily," he called out. His voice echoed through the empty hall. "Is she here? A champion?" A voice rang down from above, Derek's voice. Alex looked up and saw the metal balcony on the second floor where Derek and Jake were standing. Between them stood Emily, her face showing fear. Her hands were tied in front, and Jake was holding her firmly by the shoulder. "Let her go," Tyler demanded, stepping forward. "Your problem is with me, not with her." "Oh, we will let her go," Derek replied, "but only after we teach you a lesson. You see, because of you, our friend is now going through real hell at home. His father took everything away. His phone, his car, even forbade him to leave his room. It's all because of you, and you're showing off." Alex admitted honestly, "I did not want it to turn out like this. I gave the boss a second chance for Tyler." "Yeah, very noble," Jake said sarcastically. "You made yourself the hero and Tyler the unpredictable psycho with a knife. Do you know what's now going around the school? That something's got to him. His reputation is ruined. Alex tried to stay calm despite growing irritation. I understand you're upset, but this isn't the solution. Release Emily, and let's talk this through like reasonable people. No, we have a way better plan, Derek smirked. We know how to stand up for ourselves too. With those words, he pulled a gun from his pocket. Not a toy, not an air gun, but a real, black, deadly one. Alex froze in place. Years of training and expertise in jiu-jitsu failed to ready Tyler for a threat like this. A knife is one thing, but a firearm introduces an entirely different level of danger. Are you completely out of your mind? Where did you get a gun, Dad? He gasped. Don't worry, I know how to handle it. We're not planning to kill anyone, at least as long as you do exactly what we say, came the calm reply. Stop this, Emily shouted, struggling against Jake's grip. You don't understand what you're doing. This is no longer a school fight. This is a crime now. Shut up, Jake barked, tightening his hold on her shoulder. Okay, so what now? Alex asked quietly, desperately weighing his options. What do you want from us? First, Derek told Kalina, you will call Principal Hammond and tell him everything. Derek admitted he'd lied about Tyler not threatening him with a knife, claiming it was just a prank gone wrong and that the video was edited. Then Jake added that Alex would write a confession, admitting the whole situation was staged to make himself look like a hero. They would publish it online for the entire school to see how pathetic and deceitful he really was. Mentally, Alex estimated the distance to the stairs leading up to the balcony. Even given his speed, Derek might shoot before he reached them. And what do you think will happen afterward? Alex asked. Once you do what I say, we will just let you and Emily go. No one will find out you threatened us with a weapon, Jake promised. We will deal with this later, Derek replied nervously, glancing at his watch. For now, do as you are told, if you don't want your girlfriend to suffer. To emphasize his words, he pointed the gun, and the eyes of the men widened with horror. Alex raised his hands, signaling that he had no intention of sudden moves. All right, I will do as you want. Just do not touch her. He slowly pulled out his phone, trying to stay calm, although a storm of emotions raged inside him. He was angry not only at Derek and Jake, but also at himself for letting the situation escalate. He should have foreseen that they would not let it go unpunished. He should have protected Emily better. Don't do it, Alex, Emily whispered, looking up at him. They are crazy. They cannot be stopped. I said, shut up. Jake suddenly yanked her wrists apart, causing her to scream in pain. At that very moment, something snapped inside Alex's soul. The anger he had been holding back burst out, but not as a wild impulse. It came out as cold, focused determination. He remembered his father's words. A real fighter is not someone who does not feel fear or rage. A real fighter knows how to use those feelings like the sharp edge of a sword. Fine, he said unusually calmly. I will make the call, but first show me the gun is real. I need to be sure I am not mistaken about it being a toy. Derek looked puzzled. Are you joking? No, Alex answered firmly. I need to be sure that I am dealing with a genuine threat before I ruin my life, Tyler said determinedly. Prove it to him, Jake demanded eagerly. Let him make that damn call. Derek hesitated briefly, then raised his gun and fired a shot into an empty barrel in the corner. The echo of the shot filled the abandoned factory, causing Emily to scream in fear. Satisfied now? Derek asked, as he aimed the weapon back at Alex. Alex nodded, shivering on the inside as his fears were confirmed. The gun was real, and these two posed a serious danger. Yet the shot provided exactly what he needed. Proof of their deadly intent, captured during the call, and even more crucial, Derek's precise location while he was briefly distracted. Make the call, Jake ordered Alex. Tyler picked up the phone, pretending to dial the principal, but secretly started recording and spoke loudly enough to be heard. Derek Thompson and Jake Harris are holding Emily Parker hostage at the abandoned factory behind the school playground. They have firearms and are forcing me to lie about yesterday's incident involving Tyler Hughes. This is evidence. "What are you doing?" Derek shouted, his face twisted with panic. "Stop it," Alex calmly replied, slipping the phone into his pocket. "It is just a recording. If you do not release Emily, I will send it to the police, my father, and the school principal." "You're joking," Jake hissed, but uncertainty was already creeping across his face. "Test me," Alex stated firmly. "I'm not joking. Release Emily and we will leave. Nobody will find out about the gun. I have no intention to press charges. This is your only opportunity to escape serious consequences." Derek and Jake exchanged glances. Panic was overwhelming them. Clearly, they had not anticipated this development. "He is bluffing," Derek said uncertainly. "He did not send anything." "Are you sure?" Alex asked. "I am willing to risk my future because if this recording reaches the authorities, both of you face prison for kidnapping, threats involving a weapon, and illegal possession of it. The list of charges is extensive." A tense silence hung in the air. Alex saw determination filling the guys. Reality began to tighten its grip on them through the circumstances. Suddenly, Emily decided to seize the moment, leaving no room for doubts. She stepped forward abruptly and struck Jake, whose hands were tied, in the stomach with such force that he doubled over trying to catch his breath. Afterward, she rushed to the balcony railing. "Stop!" Derek shouted, turning toward her with the gun in his hands. Time seemed to slow down for Alex. He noticed Derek's finger squeezing the trigger, causing the weapon to turn toward Emily. Instincts kicked in instantly. With incredible speed, Alex lunged forward, simultaneously grabbing a metal scrap from the destroyed plant floor with the precision and strength that only years of training could provide. Tyler threw the pond into Derek's hand. At the exact moment, a shot rang out. The bullet struck the ceiling, showering everyone with dust and tiny fragments. Derek dropped his pistol, which clattered loudly onto the metallic floor of the balcony. Emily wasted no time. She rushed forward and kicked the weapon into a far corner, out of reach of both men. Alex was already rushing up the stairs, climbing the steps with such speed, it seemed he barely touched them. When he reached the balcony, Derek was holding his injured arm while Jake still struggled to straighten himself after Emily's blow. Alex stepped between them and the girl, saying, "This has to stop. End this now before someone gets seriously hurt." "You do not understand," Derek gritted through pain. "Tyler meant everything to us. He gave us confidence and purpose. Without him, we were nothing." "That is not true," Alex stated firmly. "You can become whoever you want, but this situation is different." He gestured towards the scene in front of them. "This path is wrong. You are capable of so much more. You deserve better." At that moment, the factory doors suddenly swung open and several people rushed inside. There were Alex's father, Coach Reynolds, and 2 police officers. "Alex," the father called out loudly as he quickly assessed the situation. "Are you okay?" "Yes, Dad," Alex answered, without looking away from Derek and Jake. "We need help immediately. Derek has a deep wound and Emily is tied up," he added. Within the following hour, a scene unfolded that Alex hoped never to witness again. Police officers detained Derek and Jake. Paramedics treated Derek's wound and examined Emily for any injuries. The weapon was confiscated as evidence, and everyone involved in the incident provided their statements. It turned out that Alex's message to his father did not go unnoticed. Concerned by its content, Michael Miller immediately contacted the school, where the librarian informed him that Emily had mysteriously left with 2 boys. Piecing together the facts, he reached out to Coach Reynolds, who was familiar with the abandoned factory site, and together they called the police. Later, in Principal Hammond's office, accompanied by his father and Emily's parents, Alex felt drained not only physically, but emotionally too. "This experience you endured today is unacceptable," the principal said. Her usually stern expression softened with genuine concern. "I'm truly sorry," she added, offering her support. "There have been troubling events involving students at our school that have caused much anxiety." Alex then inquired, "What will happen to Derek and Jake?" His father replied seriously, "This is no longer just a school matter, but a criminal case. They will face charges of kidnapping and making threats with a weapon, as well as other serious offenses." Alex quietly noted that the boys were simply confused and believed they were doing the right thing by protecting a friend. Emily's mother firmly stated that this was no excuse for their actions, and she emphasized, "They could have caused terrible harm to both of you." Alex nodded sadly, realizing how serious the situation was. After the meeting, as Alex and his father were heading towards the school exit, Coach Reynolds stopped them. He placed a hand on Alex's shoulder and said, "Miller, what you did today was not only brave, but also very wise. You kept your composure despite the difficult circumstances when many adults would have panicked." Alex replied modestly, "I just acted as I had been taught," glancing at his father. The coach added that the father should be proud of his son and the school lucky to have such a student. Alex quietly thanked the coach for his support. When they got into the car, the father was silent for a while, then turned to Alex and admitted, "You really scared me today. Do you know that?" "Sorry, son." Alex lowered his eyes and explained, "I should have called the police right away, but I was afraid for Emily." His father understood his reasons and said, "I see why you did that. However, remember the lesson I taught you. Sometimes being courageous means asking for help. That is important too." "I will remember," promised Alex. His father added gently, "I am proud of you, not because you risked yourself, but because of how you handled a tough situation. You used your skills not to harm, but to protect. That is what makes you a true winner." These words warmed Alex's heart despite the tension of the day. The following days at school turned out to be quite unusual. The story about what happened at the factory spread rapidly like a fierce wildfire, transforming Alex from an ordinary new student into a genuine legend. His classmates looked at him with admiration and respect. Meanwhile, the teachers showed a mix of reverence and concern. Emily was constantly by his side. Their friendship, built through a shared ordeal, grew stronger with each passing day. They often talked about the incident, helping one another manage their feelings and fears. On Friday, when opening his locker, Alex discovered a slipped note that read, "Meet me at the park at 4. I need to talk. Tyler." This surprised him since, as far as he knew, Tyler was still withdrawn from classes and under house arrest. How could he be at the park? After school, feeling somewhat uncertain, Alex decided to go there. He informed Emily about his plan and asked her to notify his father if he did not return by dinner. He had learned his lesson well. Never act alone again and always keep loved ones informed. At the park, on a bench near a small pond, sat Tyler. He looked completely different than Alex remembered. His usually neat hair was tousled, giving off a disheveled impression. His shoulders were slumped, and his eyes were fixed on the ground. When he heard footsteps approaching, Tyler lifted his head, and Alex noticed something unusual in his eyes. Vulnerability. "You came?" Tyler said with a slight surprise in his voice. "Yes," Alex replied, sitting down beside him. They sat on a bench nearby, keeping their distance. Suddenly he asked, "How did you manage to come out?" Tyler replied with a faint smile. "My father allowed me to take a walk for an hour. I wanted to look into the eyes of the person I almost hurt and apologize in person." "I was lucky the charges were reduced thanks to your support," Alex said calmly. They remained silent for a few moments, watching ducks glide across the pond. Then Tyler finally spoke. "I heard about what happened with Drek and Jake. It is terrible. I never thought they would go so far." Alex responded quietly. "They believed they were protecting you." "No," Tyler interrupted, shaking his head. "In reality, they were trying to protect their reputation. Without me, they were nothing. And they knew it well. Just like you." He looked into Alex's eyes. "Yes, exactly like me," Tyler thought aloud with a heavy sigh. "I always believed that being on top meant everything. Having power, inspiring fear and respect. Being a leader. Now I realize it was just emptiness. I never felt happiness. I was hollow." "It is never too late to change something," Alex suggested. Tyler raised an eyebrow and asked, "Do you really think that after all I have done, and the fact that my friends almost hurt your girlfriend because of me?" "This is not your fault," Alex said firmly. "You did not ask them to do that. You never told them to take a gun and threaten anyone." "No, but I created an atmosphere where it suddenly seemed right," Tyler argued. "I was the one who taught them that the only thing that matters is power." Alex paused, but just briefly. "You know, my father always said that the hardest part of any craft is not learning to fight, but mastering the art of avoiding conflict. Maybe right now, what you need most is to learn a different kind of strength. Not one built on fear or dominance, but one grounded in understanding and respect." Tyler stared at him for a long moment, as if seeing him for the first time. "You are strange. Do you realize that?" At last, a faint trace of his old smirk appeared. "Most people in your position would have long since hated me." "Hatred only breeds more hatred," Alex replied quietly. "Besides, I was raised properly." "Yes, I saw that." Tyler rubbed his wrist, recalling how Alex had disarmed him with a single motion. "Listen, I know my words might not mean much right now, but I want to apologize for the knife, for everything that happened. I truly regret it." "I believe you," Alex said simply. Silence fell between them once again, but now it felt comfortable, like a thin layer of ice beginning to melt. "So what happens now?" Tyler asked. "As far as I know, you return to school in a week, then community service awaits you. In addition, you will get the chance to learn how to control your anger from a 3-time national jiu-jitsu champion." "Sounds good, right?" Tyler extended his hand. "Thank you for everything, Alex." Alex shook his hand firmly, sensing this moment meant far more than just a simple gesture. A truce formed between former foes as they experienced a moment of transformation, when both decided to become more than just a troublemaker and an honor student, more than merely a winner and a loser. On that Saturday night, exactly as planned, Alex went to a country park to watch the meteor shower alongside Emily and her friends. They spread a blanket on the grass and lay down, gazing at the night sky dotted with stars. When the first meteor streaked a bright line across the dark heavens, Emily took Alex's hand. "Thank you," she whispered softly. "For what?" he asked, turning his face to catch her profile in the moonlight. "For saving me," Emily replied. "For being brave when I was scared. For not giving up even when you could have." "I was scared too," Alex admitted. "Sometimes being brave is simply doing what needs to be done, even if you're afraid." "And you did it." Emily squeezed his hand tighter. "You are a true hero, Alex Miller. Not because you are a jiu-jitsu champion, but because you are a good person." Alex felt warmth spreading through his chest as he watched the sky where meteors continued falling, creating a magical spectacle. In that moment, he understood that all the trials over 2 days, all the fears and challenges, had brought him exactly to where he needed to be. He was no longer just a beginner player, an ordinary guy with glasses wanting to stay unnoticed. Now he was Alex. Miller was a man who had discovered his place, inner strength, and true calling. Above them, in the vast expanse of space, an endless magical dance of light continued, reminding everyone that in this magnificent world, there is a spot for each person. For those who break the rules, for those who study them thoroughly, for champions, and for those just beginning their journey. Alex understood that no matter what awaited him ahead, he would face everything with an open heart and resilient spirit. After all, a true champion is not someone who never falls, but someone who always finds the strength to rise and keep moving forward. This life lesson he intended to hold dear forever,